If you're anything like me, you have felt stuck with your OCs before. Sometimes, when you try to create a little guy, they turn out looking rather unfortunate, or worse, boring. And that's why the new Pinterest OC challenge floating here on YouTube has caught my attention. Pinterest, in all of its corrupt and broken glory, is a place where you can find any image you can think of. I decided to make my own twist on this challenge. Instead of using randomizers, I will be making two characters. One, based on my current homepage on Pinterest, and the second one, based on my old account that I haven't used in ages. The moment I opened my current Pinterest page, I realized that this video is not going to go the way I thought it would. Usually, when people make these kind of videos, they have a lot of very aesthetic and cute photos that get recommended to them. However, my Pinterest account looks quite different, and it is filled to the brim with stuff that I personally enjoy and that inspires me. However, that means that finding images that would work in this challenge was very difficult, and I ended up going for a mix. I chose some images that, character design-wise, would be pretty easy to interpret. With the other images, I wanted to convey what kind of aesthetics I personally enjoy and what kind of things pop up to me when I am scrolling through Pinterest. I chose images that were striking in one way or another, that the moment I saw them, I was like, okay, I know where I want to take this character. I purposefully chose a bunch of different, somewhat unrelated photos that had different colors and different themes, so that I would have like an actual challenge in making this character. I love dreamcore and weirdcore and other internet aesthetics like that. I knew that I had to incorporate that somehow into my design. Going to my old account, this is an account that I have not used in like 3 or maybe 4 years. And the moment I saw the stark difference between what was the images that I had on my current account versus this, I thought two things. One, this is going to be a much easier character to make. And two, what the happened to me? What happened? Why am I like this right now? This is such a cute account. Such a cute account. So many lovely bubbly colors and cute clothes and stuff like that. And now everything I like is terrifying. The selection I ended up with was also a nice mix. There was some deep sea photos, a whole lot of really cute clothes, and as a little nod to the army me, I also added that little B-21 illustration. OC number 1. I don't know what this is, but it's pretty cool. Going into designing this character, I only had a vague idea of what I wanted her to look like. I wanted her to look like a mix of a fae, a fish, a cat, and a very tall human lady. And that I wanted her to look equal parts otherworldly, like an alien, and very down to earth, as in covered in mud. The hair, I wasn't sure at first what kind of story I wanted to tell with this character, so I ended up making 3 different hairstyles. One being this wet and wild look, the other one being more sharp and angled, and the third one being a classical European old-timey hairstyle to give her a sense and air of royalty. In the end, I decided that the first hairstyle suited her the best. I realized that what drawn me initially to those images I chose for her design inspiration was that feeling of mystique, I chose her skin to be this desaturated grey color. Her hair, meanwhile, has this bluish tone to it. It's also very desaturated. I wanted the main focus point to be her eyes, because that's the freakiest part, and also I think that's the coolest part. When it came to her body, I, in the beginning, wasn't sure what kind of body I wanted her to have, because in the beginning I wasn't even sure if this character is gonna be a she, if she's gonna be female. At first I was referring to her in my head as an it, so I ended up going with a more flamboyant shape. So she's quite boxy and straight and really tall. I think I made her 190 centimeters tall, like really tall. And I made her arms really long and legs really long to kind of make her look almost normal. When it comes to her skin, I had this vague idea that I wanted her to have this shine to it, almost as if she had scales, but not really. So that's exactly what I ended up doing. I gave her a little shine, as well as giving her some discoloration or maybe other coloration on the ends of her limbs. I'm really happy with the end design, and I can't wait to compare it to the next design and also see how I can make both of these designs work in one role. OC number 2. Gertrude, the marine biology student. Designing this second character was definitely much easier, because the moment I collected those images, I already knew what I wanted her to look like. I wanted her to be this cute, slightly bigger girl with soft eyes and gorgeous red hair. I color picked her hair from a goldfish because I thought that would be cute, and it was cute, and she ended up looking exactly how I imagined her. She has a bunch of freckles and a really nice bold lip. I wanted her to look both soft and sweet, but equally as trendy and cool. So, while the other character is a mystery even to me, when it comes to Gertrude, I had a more toned down idea about how she is as a person. And the reason I wanted her to look cool was mainly because of the idea I had for Gertrude's story. As you may know, a story is very important in a character design, and while making this character, I already had an idea about what kind of person she is. So I imagined Gertrude to be this kind of rich kid that chose her own path. Maybe not rich, maybe higher middle class. I think she's a little bit of a poser. Like, she's trying really hard to fit in and look cool, while deep inside it isn't really her thing. I imagine that she left home due to some dispute between her and her family and is now trying to come into her own, and her clothing style is part of it. She's trying to separate herself from what her family thought was appropriate, but I don't think she fully feels this style because of the way she wears it. I think she could absolutely pull off a better outfit if she let herself, but I think she's trying a little bit too hard. All that to say, I think she is a very adventurous person and a very brave person, since, as I said before, she left home and decided to make it on her own. And I think that Gertrude's adventurous spirit is the answer to the biggest question I had in my head when I was making these characters, which was, how did they meet? Because I thought that while making these characters in a vacuum would be completely fine, I always try to tell a story with my art. I just really like that aspect of art, storytelling as a whole. So I decided to challenge myself to answer that question. How did they meet? So let me set the scene. It's already past midnight when Gertrude finishes her part-time job. This means that the road she usually takes back home is going to be covered in darkness and fog. She isn't all that happy with this circumstance, and she's even less happy when her old, rusty car breaks down in the middle of the road. She gets out of her vehicle, all angry and frustrated and also scared since it's the middle of the night, in the middle of a forest, when suddenly she hears a sound coming from a swamp right next to the road. She can't help herself. She's a scientist, and also a very curious person that apparently never heard of the saying, curiosity killed the cat. She gets as close to the bog as she possibly can, and what she sees stops her right in her tracks. Wait. Yes, this is exactly what I was thinking about. So she stops right in her tracks because the scene that is unfolding in front of her is rather peculiar. This being, neither human or animal, is hunting? This is truly fascinating to Gertrude. This creature, whatever it may be, is oddly beautiful in that alien-like manner, with its many eyes and glistening skin that looks somewhat iridescent. And I think that in her mind, she must have been fighting between fear and just absolute awe. As to the creature's point of view, I imagine that she was doing her usual thing, hunting for fish, as one does. And the only appropriate and cool method to catch fish, which is to catch it with your mouth. I want to make the statement that I truly believe that all fishers that catch their fish with a fishing rod are simply cowards that aren't ready to truly embrace the art of fishing, okay? And she gets it, okay? She's not scared of that fish. She embraces it with her sharp teeth to show her dominance. And I admire that. And I think that Gertrude also admired that. And who would I be if I didn't overwork myself? I decided to, even after creating those two illustrations and making that entire, lore surrounding those characters, I decided to make a illustration to show what happened next. While drawing this, I realized that there's going to be a problem with my original design of the... if you guys have name ideas for the creature, the alien girl, please put those ideas down in the comments. For the love of God, I don't have a name, and I need a name, because she has these really long fingernails, or claws actually, and I wanted her to be holding a sandwich or a burger that Gertrude given her even, and that just wouldn't work. So by the time I realized that, I was already really deep into the drawing process, and I didn't want to change the design or the pose, so I had to not do that, which kind of sucks. So for this final illustration, I had this idea that once Gertrude saw the creature, she made some kind of shocked noise, and that alerted the creature. But I think that what happened next was that they just simply stared at each other for a while, figuring out whether or not the other person was a danger. And after they made the observation that they're not, maybe they attempted to talk. I think that the creature has some knowledge of how to speak in English or in human languages. I don't know if she can do it well. So I think they somewhat managed to communicate, and then they stayed up together in the forest until the early morning. and Gertrude gave her her little like sweater thing and fed her. I think that Gertrude just is a very caring person, and she really wanted to make a new friend, and she, you know, did everything she could in order to make the creature feel safe around her. In the end, I really like this piece. I think they look adorable. I think that they look so alive, and I'm really happy with the way they turned out. Congrats! You reached the end of the video! Thank you so much for watching this video. This is my first ever YouTube video, so I don't know how well it's going to come out. I hope that my accent wasn't too grating and that the visuals were at least a little bit okay. And if I made a single joke that made you laugh, you can, this is my first day on the job. Let me say it. Subscribe. There you go. And what else do they say? Hit the like button, guys. You need to hit the like button, okay? Thank you so much for watching, and down in the description below there will be links to the original people that made this challenge, as well as the link to my Tumblr account. So if you guys want to scream at me somewhere and see a lot of different fan art that I make and original art, you can go follow me there. And this is it. Bye bye.